friends, good morning. So today we're doing a bit of a reading challenge, and it's going to be kind of a different one. So I am doing a different take on the reading for 24 hours situation and asking myself, if my full-time job was to read manga, how much can I read in an 8-hour workday? So that's kind of how we're going to operate. My physical TBR for manga has gone insane. I have had no self-control lately, so I'm going to fix that today. So I have some new series I've been wanting to try and other series I've been wanting to kind of work on catching up on. So that's going to kind of be today's project. I know for 30 and 30 I'm reading One Piece. I'm not going to do any of that today because then I'll just want to watch One Piece, and I'm current with the dub, so I'm not going to go down that road today. I wanted to go ahead and kind of get going on this day. It is almost, let's see, what time is it? It's currently 7:53, so come 8 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. First two that I've got, since we've got a little bit of time, the first two I'm going to start with are The Knight Captain and his new-to-be princess. I've been hearing kind of mixed things on this first volume, so I'm going to jump in and see how I feel. The art looks really pretty, so I don't think it's going to be an art issue for me. It'll just be whether the story is engaging enough for me to continue, since I do read lots of things kind of similar sounding, so we'll see. And then the other one I have is the next installment in the Old Fashioned Cupcake series, which is Old Fashioned Cupcake with Cappuccino. I adored these two. This is like a hero in his 40s, and it's an age gap. They're about 10 years apart, but they've known each other for a long time by the time they get together in Old Fashioned Cupcake. So I'm really excited to see their story continue just because I like them as a couple. So those are going to be my first two. So I'm probably going to read these. I have some friends that host sprints on Sundays that might be going early this morning. So I'll probably hop on one of those just to kind of help keep me motivated. I might not need it though. Like, I'm very excited to read today. So that's going to kind of be my focus today. So from about 8 to noon, I'm going to read pretty hardcore, take an hour lunch break, and then from 1 to 5, I'll read pretty hardcore, and then kind of call it for the day. So that's how this challenge video is going to work. I have a pretty big stack here. I'd like to get through all of that, maybe more. I'm feeling a little ambitious this morning, so we'll see how it actually goes. I haven't had my... Oh, I do have my mic on. I was afraid I didn't have the mic on this whole time. I was so sad. But anyhow, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this challenge, and let's see how it goes. So, time to see my face again. It is now 11:57, so basically noon. So we are actually going to talk about all the things I read. And that was 9 volumes in 4 hours, which is better than I was expecting, honestly. So let's actually talk about those 9 volumes. So the most recent thing I read was The Dragon King's Imperial Wrath Volume 1. This is one that I've had for a while and just hadn't gotten around to reading. So I'm very happy that I finally gotten to this one. Basically in this one, it's got 13 animalistic kind of clans. The dragon clan is the most powerful one. So they are the, like, imperial leaders. He's the king, and he's supposed to be finding a bride. And how they do that is they emit this thing that's kind of like Conqueror's Haki in a way in One Piece, if you're familiar with that term. So when they emit this energy, they call it supremacy. When they emit that, most creatures pass out. The Dragon King's fated mate is not supposed to pass out. They're supposed to be able to face him head on and all that kind of stuff. And the only one that has for this particular king is this beautiful little rat princess. And so it is all about them getting to know one another, as well as him publicly declaring that she's his fated mate, and things moving forward from there. I really, really liked this. I'm definitely excited for the next volume, which comes out the first week of October. So it could show up at my bookstore at any time, and I will definitely be picking it up because I am very invested in what's going on here. If you like a good political fantasy and you're okay with the fact that not everybody looks fully human, then you should be good with this one. But I really enjoyed it. I could understand why some people wouldn't, but this all worked really well for me, so I'm very excited. Next, the next most recent thing, we're just going to go in reverse order because that's how they're stacked. So I've got Bite Maker Volume 6 that I finally read. This is a series I've just been taking volume by volume because there are some like borderline questionable things. This particular volume left on quite the cliffhanger, so I will be reading Volume 7. I don't know where I'll be after Volume 7. I don't know if I'll keep going. I mean, I'm basically halfway through the series at this point, so I'll probably just finish it out. I don't remember how many volumes there are of this one. It's fairly long, but anyways, I don't hate the series, but it's not necessarily a new favorite or anything for me, but I do enjoy all of the Omegaverse discussion because they discuss it quite a bit, and I do appreciate that. So there's that. I just realized I need to mute my computer. So while I do this next transition, I will do that. Next I have We Can't Just Do Plain Love Volume 1. So this is basically, what did I tell Izzy? What's the easiest way to describe this? So this is basically like Sweat and Soap meets Ladies on Top. She has a smelling fetish, like a scent fetish. And he is uncomfortable with situations with women because of past trauma. So this is really like a good blend of the two series together, and they're two of my favorites. So clearly this worked very well for me. I could definitely see why this wouldn't work for some people. It is very high steam because she's kind of trying to desensitize him in a way, but at the same time, it only works if it's her kind of a thing. So I'm here for it. Like, I'm all in on this one. I'm very excited when the second volume comes in to pick that up. I'm gonna have to look up when it comes out because I'm invested in this series. Next, I spent some time catching up on a series, and that is The Country Without Humans. So I read Volume 2, Volume 3, and Volume 4, which is the penultimate volume. There's only going to be one more volume of this series. This is a series in which there are no longer humans. There are only these man-made android-style things called golems. And there's one human girl running around. And it evolves a lot beyond that. But this has a very sweet undertone to it, even though the world is fairly dark. So I appreciate it a lot. If you like things like... what would be a good comp for this? I don't even know right now. But I really enjoy this series, and I've been sitting on these volumes because they're kind of like cozy for me. So I just have the last volume left when it comes out. So 4 hasn't been out that long, so it'll be a little bit. But Anyways, I love this series a whole lot. If you haven't given it a try yet, I would definitely recommend picking it up, seeing if it jives with you, especially since it's only going to be 5 volumes. It's going to be a nice short one. So finding good short series can be hard sometimes, but this one is definitely a good short one. Next, I read Snow Fairy, which is a cute one-shot boys love from Tokyo Pop. This one is no steam. But these two, basically, there's this guy who's a nature photographer who ends up in this snowy terrain, and there's a young man that lives there. His parents have passed, he's very lonely, and they end up becoming friends and developing into more. It's very sweet, very cute. I don't really want to spoil anything about this one because it's just 1 volume, but if you want a good, sweet boys love that's not really steam, it's all about like story and getting to know one another, then I think this is a great one for you. The next one is the continuation of Old Fashioned Cupcake. So this is Old Fashioned Cupcake with Cappuccino. They've been together about 6 months at this point, and they're kind of dealing with kind of the should they move in together question. And because they are boss and subordinate, how would that look at work? So there's a lot of great discussions happening in this particular volume. The first volume is all about them like getting together. One thing is our older hero, Nozue, he talks about how he's a crusty old man a lot. So he has a lot of self-deprecating thoughts, and that's part of what leads to our conflict in this particular volume. But I ended up really enjoying my time with these characters. I would love for there to be 1 or 2 more volumes. Honestly, I'd love to see their relationship develop a little bit further from here. But if this is all I get, that's all I get, and I'm okay with that. It ends in a really good place. I'm really happy, I'm really satisfied, and I love these older heroes so much. Because so much, when it comes to BL, they're younger, so I love having this older couple. It's really, really fun and really refreshing, honestly. And then the first thing I ended up reading today was The Knight Captain is the New Princess to Be. So this one was a bit of a letdown, if I'm honest. I don't think I'll be picking up any more volumes of this one. So this one is just very middle of the road, you know. She's the not like other girls girl, and of course the prince wants her because they're childhood best friends. And so none of it is bad per se, but it's just not what I was hoping it was going to be. I was hoping it was going to be a little more forward thinking, I guess you could say, than it actually was. But yeah, it was just very middle of the road. I think there are series out there that do this concept a lot better, so I don't think I'll be investing anymore in this one, which is a shame because the art in it really is quite pretty. I quite like the art style, but this story just didn't quite work for me, and so that's a real bummer. So we are 9 volumes in. I am very happy with the progress I've made. I'm going to take my little break. I will come back at 1 o'clock, and I think I'm going to start with Cheeky Brat 7 because I've been sitting on this volume a little longer than I hoped to, so I'm very excited to read this one. So, anyhow, I'll see you guys in a little while. Hello! So we are here at the end of this little experiment, and I've got the rest of the volumes to talk to you about. So the final count for today was 22 volumes. Now that is much higher than I was expecting. Honestly, I was expecting to hit somewhere between 12 and 16, but I had quite a few volumes that read faster than I remembered. Like, I didn't know Gap Papa was going to read as fast as it did, because I read the first 2 volumes of that. And then The Maid I Hired Recently Is Mysterious read a lot faster than I remembered as well. So there's 6 that read faster than I remembered. And I did have a few in here that I knew read pretty quick. Mr. Villain's Day Off read quick as well. So there's quite a few that read a lot faster than I expected. So I do think this number is a little on the higher side than you would normally see from me. But all things considered, I read at my normal rate. I wasn't pushing myself. And this is honestly, if I was paid to read for 8 hours a day, manga as my job, this is roughly what I would read in a day. And I know for some people that's a lot. I naturally read fairly quickly. And I purposely did not choose volumes that I knew would take me longer, like the One Piece volumes where I know they take me longer because I take notes and other things like that. So if just reading manga was my job, this is what it would look like. And it's kind of wild, honestly. So we'll talk a little bit more at the end, but let's talk about what I read. So one series I made a little bit of progress in right here at the end was His Majesty the Demon King's Housekeeper. I always want to say the name wrong, so I have to read it. But this is just a really cute, really fun series about a girl who's isekai'd into the demon realm, and she is slightly obsessed with cleaning, and that's just her little quirky thing about her. And she actually is known as the cleaning saint. And so it's very interesting and very fun. I have a good time. The plot thickened quite a bit in this 3rd volume. So I do have the 4th volume already, so I'm excited to pick that up when I get a little more time. Next, I read the 1st volume of The Eccentric Doctor of the Flower Moon Kingdom. Now, this one is very, very fun. Has a little bit of Apothecary Diaries vibes to me. He's the prince. She is kind of the quirky doctor. Her obsession is muscles. So she kind of is excited to go to the capital because of the muscly men of the capital. But there are lots of politics going on in the background. And so this is very, very enjoyable. So if you like something like the Apothecary Diaries, you may get along with this one as well. But I can understand if you preferred Apothecary Diaries to this one, because I do slightly as well. Mao Mao is just a very special character to me, and our heroine here doesn't quite live up to it, but I don't think we spent as much time with her as we do with Mao Mao. And this one isn't quite as dense as an volume of Apothecary Diaries either. She has an assistant that I really like, and the prince's assistant is also very fun. So again, this is a very fun one. For fans of Apothecary Diaries, I think it's worth a try. Another series I got current on was The Maid I Hired Recently Is Mysterious. As I mentioned before, so I have Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, and Volume 6, which is the most recent volume. Now, this one is very sweet and very cute. There are some, at least one-sided romantic feelings going on here right now. And it is an age gap, so go in knowing that. But this one's just kind of a fun, silly little comedy, and I have a really good time with it. We learn more why the maid comes to this particular house in these volumes, and that was a very interesting piece that was missing for me before. So I enjoy this. This is just kind of fluffy fun. And an occasional volume is great. Reading them all together, there are moments that felt a little samey, but there was decent story progression throughout all the volumes. So it's not quite like Komi, where it definitely feels samey. So had a good time with this. The tower keeps growing. Next, I tried the 1st volume of Mr. Villain's Day Off. This was a lot of fun. This is if the way of the house husband met Love After World Domination, because The heroes are very Super Ranger-y. Mr. Villain here is very mustache twirly, like a Power Rangers kind of villain. But at the same time, on his day off, he's a normal dude who really likes pandas. And it's really fun. I have a good time. I will definitely at least pick up 2 more volumes, give it a 3-volume try, and then decide from there. But for now, I'm invested and want to see where it goes next. The next series I got caught up on was A Man and His Cat. I love A Man and His Cat. So I read volume 8 and volume 9. The 2 people on these covers are his children, and I love it. And I really love the story that's going on here. This is just slice of life with a giant chubby cat, and it's great. It warms my heart. It warms my soul. These ones didn't necessarily make me cry like most of the volumes have up to this point, but these were still very interesting volumes that made you grow and look at things, and I definitely recommend the series as a whole because this series is great, perfect for animal lovers, and I just had a great time with this because there's a lot of personality and family things going on, especially in these last 2 volumes, and we're dealing with a man getting over the grief of losing his wife, and it's beautiful. I love it so much. Would 10 out of 10 recommend the series forever. We're almost there. All right, so I finally got to reading Gap Papa. So I read volume 1 and volume 2. These are very short, very sweet volumes about a man who's pretty cold and isolated at work, but at home he's just a cinnamon roll who adores his wife and adores his daughter. And it's really fun to see their slice of life. It's really fun, really sweet. I will read this as long as it's coming out because I enjoy it thoroughly. And it's not really like spicy or sexy or anything like that when he's at home. But this is very sweet and very cute. And it just made me smile the whole way through. So if you're looking for just a very sweet slice of life story, this is a great one. And then last but not least, I finally got current on Cheeky Brat. So I finally read volume 7. I've had it for a while, so it was fun to get around to reading this one. I still love our characters. This love triangle situation is still a little bit there, but not as strong because these 2 are official now. But yes, still fun, still had a great time. So the questions you're probably asking yourself is, why did you do this? 1, I knew I wanted to make a bit of a dent in my physical manga TBR because it is very large right now. 2, I've been morbidly curious. If I seriously sat and dedicated 8 hours straight to reading manga, how much could I read? Because I've had, you know, days where I read quite a bit and other days where I don't read anything. And so I'm like, if I balance this out and this was my job and I was sitting here at a desk reading for 8 hours, what would that look like? And so that's what this video was. So thank you so much for checking this video out. I appreciate you being here. I think it was a really fun experiment. I definitely found some new favorites, got caught up on some others, and this is something I would definitely be up to doing again. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know down below. I've also been toying with a 24-hour situation, but it would be like more like a 24 and 48 because your girl's got to sleep. So if you're interested in seeing videos like that, let me know down below. Again, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little more B-roll heavy than I normally do, but anyways. So that was kind of my day. Reading as if it were my job. So if you're here just because you love me, leave me a book stack emoji and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
It's been raining for days now, been running like a child. Can't feel the cold, well I'm lost here with you, lost in these woods. Lost as I should.